for the Word on Wall Street. Top investors watching your money. Joining me right now, the Fitz-Gerald Group Principal, Keith Fitz-Gerald, and TJM Institutional Services Director, James Urio. Gentlemen, good to see you both. Thank you so much for being here. James, kicking things off of the Fed and its ability to stomp out inflation. The president met with the chairman of the Fed yesterday, Jay Powell, to address the sky-high inflation. The president putting the responsibility squarely on the Federal Reserve to fix America's inflation problem, as Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen admits she was wrong about the path of inflation last year. She says the pace of job gains will also slow down. Keith, I just reported the number of layoffs in the tech sector. What are you expecting from this economy second half?
Well, to Jim's point, what is she talking about? Does she even live on the same planet as we do? The notion that they were not prepared and nobody else saw this coming. Everybody saw this coming except the Fed. Anybody in the real world would be fired by now, frankly, Maria. So I expect some rough sledding ahead. I think energy is going to go higher. I'm going to stick with the trades that are winning. That's going to be the one bright spot, along with companies that make things like foodstuffs, pet food. The stuff that you've got to have to live. That's where you want to be in the second half, because it's going to insulate you from a lot of the other shocks the Fed can't control because it's a supply problem, which Biden didn't even relatively acknowledge.
I mean, we're talking about some serious inflation. We had a graphic up earlier. Eggs, the price of eggs up 22% year over year. So when you give me this 8.3% CPI average, I'm thinking, what? We wish it was 8% on some of these things. Fresh fish, lettuce, all of the foods that we buy are up in the double digits. What does that mean in terms of profits and the potential for a recession, Keith?
Well, I think it raises them dramatically. To give you an example, we live here in the Pacific Northwest, where we have abundant seafood and all kinds of great things to eat from the local farms. My wife looked at a salmon the other day. It was $140-something a fish. That's just not going to happen. People put less meat on the grills. People are changing the way they drive. People are changing the materials they buy. This does not bode well for the American economy. And the president, again, does not seem to understand basic economics here. You've got to get the supply chain fixed. Not only do you have to raise rates, you've got to do both at once.
And as oil prices go up, as we head into the peak season of driving, you've got to believe inflation goes up as well, because that's the underlying issue. We'll be watching. Keith Fitz-Gerald, James Urio, great to see you both, gentlemen. Thanks so much for the Word on Wall Street. Much more ahead this morning coming up.
Hi, it's Keith here. Thanks for checking out today's highlight clip. What'd you think? Did I make sense? Is there something you'd like to add? Make sure you leave a comment down below. And of course, click subscribe to keep up right here on YouTube, or sign up for the email newsletter at the link below. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram for my real-time thoughts on markets, analysis, and a whole lot more.